Battlefield 6 is charging into the scene bigger, better, and more Battlefield than ever before. EA officially announced Battlefield 6 on July 22nd, 2025, revealing the title, key art, and trailer schedule. The game is set to launch on October 10th, 2025. Early access kicks off August 7th, with a full open beta starting August 9th through the 10th. So it's safe to say the community is hyped. In this video I will go over all the reasons behind the hype. So let's talk about where it all started for me. No game punished lone wolfing and rewarding team play like Battlefield 2. I still remember being a squad leader and requesting for artillery strikes like I was on top of the world. The squad-based gameplay revolutionized online team play, and with the introduction of the commander, it added a strategic layer rarely seen in first-person shooters at the time. Classic maps like Strike at Karkand and Wake Island became iconic. Tight gameplay, with a realistic tone and large modding scene, added years of life into the game. It's not without its downfalls. If you played at the time, you know how terrible the grenade spam was. Between the clunky menu and the ineffectiveness of Punkbuster anti-cheat, after a few years it was clear that the franchise had lots of potential, both to grow and improve. Battlefield 3 was when I realized that the series was more than just a niche tactical shooter. It was going mainstream. The 64-player Metro grind? Peak chaos. Absolute adrenaline rush. The Frostbite 2 engine brought destruction and visuals to a new level. Metro, Caspian Border, and Operation Firestorm became instant classics. The revamped gunplay felt snappy and modern, and the vehicles were refined to be much more balanced than Battlefield 2. But losing the commander position really didn't sit well with me. Between frustrating Origin clients and Battlelog web launcher, it created some chaos. Battlefield 4 is the game I came back to again and again. Even after the mess at launch, it aged like fine wine. The skyscraper collapsing on the map Siege of Shanghai still gives me the chills. Battlefield 4 is arguably the best of its kind. The class customization was top-notch, and the large-scale environmental changes brought new immersion to the franchise. Battlefield 1 was stunning. It felt like I was in a war documentary, but I missed the depth in the weapons, the loadouts, everything like that. Still, I can't deny those massive blimp crashes or horse charges were unforgettable. But the clunky weapons and interesting choices for player movement had me jumping back to Battlefield 4 constantly. Battlefield 5 was a title I really enjoyed more than most of the community. The slower paced gameplay, the movement system being way smoother, and crouch sprinting was exactly what Battlefield 1 missed the mark on. Not to mention the visuals. The game looks really good. Sure, there was a lack of maps and weapons when the game first launched, but over time, this quickly became my preferred Battlefield. Now, Battlefield 2042? This is 100% an unpopular opinion, but I didn't mind the game. With its terrible launch, lack of content, team play and squad play felt more dead than ever. But over time, this game greatly improved. To this day, this game is still chaos, some vehicles are downright broken, other weapons are lots of fun and brought unique gameplay, but two things really held this game strong for me. I've always had a strong dislike for hackers and cheaters. There is literally no satisfaction behind the game when you cheat. I always was so frustrated because every time I play Battlefield, every game always had them. But 2042 was different. Why, you ask? Here's my theory. The flop of a launch was the reason I felt it deterred hackers. Simply put, the game didn't matter to the world. Therefore, the player stats also didn't matter. It seems like the only motivation for most hackers is the boastful KD ratio or the headshot kills. But with the game immediately falling on its back, it kinda scared away all the hackers. The final reason? The 128 player battles. The maps in 2042 are so large, if you ran into a hacker, you could essentially just avoid them the whole rest of the game, simply by playing on a different side of the map. Statistically, there were so many players, you just ran into hackers less. This made 2042 a title I came to enjoy more and more over time, especially when the content updates started rolling out. But there's no denying the community hated the game, and for good reason. The servers tended to be unstable for the first year. Lots of features were incomplete, and with the class system being basically non-existent, it was chaos. Some maps were too large and poorly paced. It truly fell short of the Battlefield we came to know and love. So why the hype over Battlefield 6? Nearly every negative thing I've addressed over every single game has been taken into consideration. The community truly feels heard on this game. There must be some game designer who is truly holding back the gates of a greedy CEO, and it truly is allowing this game to become what we want it to be. Here's what I'm talking about. Battlefield 6 brings back the fan-favorite class-based gameplay, with Assault, Support, Engineer, and Recon. The new kinesthetic combat system revamps movement, adds dynamic features like Drag and Revive, wall-mounted weapons, and more cinematic combat. With Battlefield 6, we're getting a dose of nostalgia. Battlefield 6 launches with 9 maps, including a remake of Battlefield 3's Operation Firestorm, and more classic arenas are on the roadmap, based on the feedback the community's provided. Matchmaking is getting smarter. System-based matchmaking is tuned and blended with connection quality, location, and server load to keep matches balanced without ruining squad play. Battlefield 6 is clearly aiming to blend the best of old and new. October is looking intense. As for my thoughts on the rest of the game, I'm pretty excited. I look forward to what the game has in store and what they've promised, and I really hope this game's not going to be flop like 2042. The footage you see here is my first gameplay of Battlefield 6 Open Beta. Things look really promising. This was a ton of fun, but let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll discuss my thoughts on the gameplay in the next video. That's all for now. Keep it legendary and keep it low-key. Bye guys.